Riverside Cemetery is one of Macon's finest landmarks. It's elegant, it's beautiful.
The beauty of this place is definitely inspirational for an artist's eye.
That this is a place that they can come, that they can study history, that they can relax and enjoy themselves, and it be a family affair.
Oh, it's a beautiful place to visit, to come and to walk around, and I'm a history major, so I personally love the connection of being able to come and find your roots.
So much history is taught in books, but Riverside Cemetery is history alive.
It's peaceful, it's very well kept, we've never had any problems, and we feel safe when we come here.
My family had a lot of relatives who lived outside of Georgia, and whenever they came, they always wanted to come and visit this cemetery.
I'm named for my grandfather. He started out his practice of architecture as P.E. Dennis architect. Was asked by the new Riverside Cemetery to help them find someone to design the cemetery. And as a result, he recommended Calvin Vault, associated, I believe, with the Central Park in New York City. And then my grandfather served as the local contact.
I've gone to many cemeteries in my travels and drawn and sketched, and I've done many grave rubbings, and so I incorporate that into my drawing classes. The kids learn a lot from sketching. Well, this is a sketch that one of my students did who was in my fundamental drawing class. One of the assignments that I gave them was to do contour and value studies when they came here and study the lights and the darks, and also study curved versus angular objects. Landscape architecture is another element that can be discussed in the classroom when you go back or before you come on a field trip. So there are many, many things that kids can learn from, see, explore, and enjoy when they come and visit Riverside Cemetery.
Well, it's a peaceful place to come and walk and jog.
It's the best workout we have. We have several different routes.
We just like the feel of the whole cemetery. There are a lot of ups and downs, so we get to recover once we've gone up a very difficult section.
We leave the Macon Health Club and we come here and we go around the cemetery. We think it's the most beautiful place in town. Abundant history here, and it's just a wonderful place to go through.
The cemetery is a microcosm. It's a snapshot of Macon's history. I think if people will come here and visit, I think they'll have a greater sense of the community. Most people buried here are, of course, Caucasian, but there are also African Americans buried here. Well, we give tours.
Miss Hannah Guion, and she was the first principal teacher of Macon's Academy of the Blind.
You have a lot of historically interesting people and a lot of historically interesting characteristics about the cemetery, and then it has a very nice staff that are very caring and very interesting to work with.
Oh, my grandfather worked here for over 40 years. I remember doing summer breaks, he used to bring me over here just to be with him. And I seen him dig graves by hand, pick and shovel. They just had a wagon and a mule. We got roughly over 125 acres here that we have to maintain. We get a lot of compliments, on how we keep it up, saying it's so nice, so.
Kenny Hogan, the maintenance supervisor, and I work hand in hand to get funerals done, lots taken care of, make sure that everything's done that the families need. My mother worked for probably 20 years here. She came in when I went out. I went out on maternity leave and stayed gone for several years. Well, I've worked here for close to 25 years. I started as a very young intern when there weren't a lot of file cabinets, there weren't a lot of files, but we entered all of the interments and all of the lot information that we had on each interment and the obituary information that we had. Compiled over 17,000 interments. It took quite a while to do that. Individuals can access the information on our website. This is a tool that researchers use. The genealogists love to visit our website. It gives them access to information that they don't have otherwise. It's a way that they can go and look. They can look at obituaries. They can look at the maps with the GPS coordinates. They can see the pictures of the monuments and the markers on the lot. It's also important to know that we still have interments. We offer assistance to families when they're trying to purchase monuments and markers. We have a full-time staff that maintains the cemetery. So many of our families know our employees, and that makes them comfortable when they come here. People want a connection. They want to know where they came from, and we offer that place. We give them a place to come back to.
Both sets of my grandparents are buried here, along with one cousin. Close friends as well, all back in pretty much in the same part of the cemetery. You know, I was really close with my grandfather, my first grandfather that passed away, and so I was 13 when he passed away. So as soon as I could drive, this kind of almost became a destination.
It's a beautiful place to come.
It's just a peaceful little garden. I mean, really it is. And you know, you're just never bothered here, and you can just walk around and be alone with your thoughts and take wonderful pictures of angels. She's up. This is the first angel I saw in Riverside. She's the one that's up there but near the street. You know, cemeteries are wonderful, I think, because it connects you to, you know, the past, and you know, it does bring about some interesting conversations about who came before you and where you hope to go.
My father said, your great-great-grandparents are buried in Macon. They are buried in Riverside Cemetery. I want you to find them. So Cecil helped me find where they were buried. Had it pictured in my mind. I was going to be sitting between these two wonderful monuments, and we arrived, and they were two slabs on the ground. Well, I'll just lie down between them, and it was freezing cold. Put my hands across like this, and he snapped my picture. Still to this day, it's my favorite Christmas present I have ever given my father, given anyone. It's a wonderful connection to Riverside Cemetery and to Macon. But it's Margaret Harrison Burns and Kenmore Burns are my great-great-grandparents.
The individuals whom I put the American flag on are people that have served in the Army or the Navy, the Air Force. It's very honorable for them after they have passed away to have the American flag displayed on their gravesite.
Riverside has always been a very important part of my family and my friends. Although it's a very sad place in a lot of ways. My father is buried not far from where I'm sitting now. So even though there's a sadness, there's also a celebration that comes with this, knowing that this is a place that I can come and remember him.
In the 1940s, my parents owned a nursery. One of our customers had a son named Butch. Butch was killed as a child. Years later, I discovered his photograph on a grave on a pony. My parents had a picture taken of me on the pony. A couple of years ago, in visiting my grandparents' grave, which is nearby, I found the picture had come loose, and I was concerned and was able to give the information to the cemetery. And I had a phone call one day thanking me again for calling and letting me know it had been reattached. And it really said a lot to me about the way the cemetery is being run.
I have about 10 relatives that are buried in the cemetery, and I have one relative that was buried here. He was in the Civil War, or the War of Northern Aggression as we call it in the South. We rewarded him by giving him a tombstone and his wife a tombstone. Susan guided me through who to get the tombstones from, where to get the tombstones from, the horn players to play taps, and then the preacher.
Well, as an artist, as a painter, you know, you find energy and you can get refueled by nature. Not only do you have the beauty of nature, but you've got the beauty of art with a capital A. The monuments, the tombstones are all sculptures. You have the subject matter of art, which is life and death, being played out around you.
But it's going to take a concerted effort on the part of the Conservancy to interest the general public in joining our efforts and our short-term and long-term vision for what this cemetery not only is but can be in the future. As far as a place, it's like a garden. We welcome everybody into our garden, and we would hope over the years that they would join in our efforts to maintain this cemetery and to see that it remains a place of beauty and joy and peace.